Hi there. This is a real hands-free ceiling beamforming microphone MAS-A100 that has the capability of speech reinforcement. Today, I would like to explain how to set up this new style microphone. Okay, this is the agenda. In part 1, I'm going to introduce two documents, user guide and system integration guide, comparing the differences. In part 2, you can learn the tips of system design, such as system configuration or Dante network design. In part 3, I will show you the procedure of system setup using the Dante controller and microphone management software MAS-A100. Okay, let's move on from part 1. At first, please go to Sony professional page and find two documents, operation instructions and system integration guide. Let's open operating instructions. That describes physical installation and mainly how to use Web UI, including initial setup. But if you are in charge of system design or system installation, please go through System Integration Guide. For example, if you open System Integration Guide, you can learn the structure of beamforming microphone. That consists of 8 directional microphone capsules. This is the audio flow. As you can see, the device has 2 audio channels. Main output for speech reinforcement and rec output for recording. In this diagram, you can find how each signal processing function affects to main, rec, or common for both main and rec output. Later, you will learn the procedure of each audio setting on Web UI. Okay, then let's go to part 2, System Design, Configuration. Go back to System Integration Guide. Please find the link to calculator for speech reinforcement. That is a kind of simulator how many microphones are required depending on room size. Okay, then let's start it. Select the unit, meters or feet. You can select the priority, audio quality, or minimize the quantity of microphones. I select audio quality. Then you can define ceiling height, 3 meters. This is the coverage width. For example, the room width is 10 meters. Maybe the teacher area width is, let's say, 8 meters. If you click Advanced Setting, you can set presenter height, audience height, extender length. You know, this is a case of ceiling height 3 meters. Normally, extender is not required. Click Calculate. It says 3 microphones is enough. Then, for the case of ceiling height 5 meters like auditorium, click Calculate. It says 3 microphones is enough, but 2 meter extender is required. This is a detail of capture range for speech reinforcement. That is a hemisphere of 2 to 3 meter radius. For the case of ceiling height 3 meters and teacher's body height 1.7 meters, this is the top view of teacher's mouth height. That is 1.2 to 2.5 meter radius. Then the capture range of rec output is hemisphere of 7 meter radius. Go next. You can find some system diagrams in the System Integration Guide. Let me show you the 3 typical diagrams. Example 1. This is the case using Dante DSP mixer. The main and rec output of 2 microphones are converted and mixed to analog audio by the digital mixer. The audio signal is connected to a speech reinforcement system and recording system respectively. Please keep in mind, set the audio system for speech reinforcement not to use any non-linear signal processing such as noise reduction or automatic gain control for the input from the beamforming microphone. When you do the initial setup, including the microphone discovery on the network, the operation PC has to be connected to the same segment. That means the same layer 2 network. After the initial setup, you can move the operation PC to your control room where the IP address is accessible beyond the layer 3 switch. This is the tips when you connect the upper layer of network. When you install beamforming microphone system to multiple classrooms and connect each room to campus network, for example, design the multicast traffic to be isolated in each classroom and block unknown multicast from other rooms to avoid the crosstalk of Dante network. that cause audio signal interruption. Later, you will learn the detail of Dante controller, but let me introduce how to check the status of Dante network. This is the Dante controller. Open clock status, and then check only one Dante device indicates master. If there are two or more, interruption occurs. Next, example 2. This is a case of use the Dante analog converters on the assumption to install beamforming microphones to the existing analog audio system. Using the Dante controller on this PC, make sure to mix the audio channels of the main output from each microphone for speech reinforcement. Separately, make sure to mix the audio channels of rec output from each microphone for audio recording. Keep in mind never to mix the main and rec output to one. Third one, this is an example of connecting to a remote communication system. The audio signal for remote communication system has to be rec output of the beamforming microphone. We do not recommend to use the main output remotely. Many customers are considering to use beamforming microphone for video conference system or web conference system. But there are some concerns of side effects such as echo return when using beamforming microphone with conference system that has echo cancellation capability. We Sony conducted some tests to see the side effects. As a result, side effects are within affordable level. But please be sure to test at your actual environment before installation. In this section, I will explain the tips related installation. This is an example of equipment list for the case of system diagram 2 that I have already shown you. If you are the person to install the beamforming microphone system, you can refer this diagram as a test purpose or demo purpose in advance before the actual installation. This is a picture when we conducted the test installation. There are 3 tips for physical installation. Number 1, distance between the microphone and the speaker. The microphone should be placed at least 2 meters further away from the speakers. 3 meters or more is recommended. If you select a line array speaker, it is effective to get better result of speech reinforcement. Number 2, direction of the microphone and the speaker. The microphone and speakers are recommended to be facing away. If speakers are already mounted on the teaching display wall and the distance between microphone to speaker is less than 3 meters, we would recommend to move the speakers so that they are facing away from the beamforming microphone to get best results for speech reinforcement. Number 3, low reverberation and low reflection. It is recommended to use a room with low reverberation and low reflection. Speech reinforcement may not be applicable in rooms with reflective interiors such as vinyl tile floors or stone walls. For instance, you may check the reflection by clapping hands. Next, network. This is a beamforming microphone. It has a single network port, but in fact it has 2 IP addresses and 2 MAC addresses. One is for Dante controller and another one is for beamforming microphone management software, MAS-A100. Go back to system integration guide. We have to use PoE hub. And then let's talk about the IGMP snooping of network switch. It said that IGMP snooping may disrupt Dante network communications if it is not configured appropriately. So that's why we recommend to disable IGMP snooping. Here you can find the compatibility products list, network switches here. I'm going to introduce how to disable IGMP snooping using Netgear GS108PE, that is PoE hub. In this case, please connect the switch and PC directly. That means peer-to-peer. please do not connect the router. So at first I need to set the PC IP address to fix the IP. We need to use the IP address 192.168.0. and then as you like, for example 210. Okay, then let me open the web UI of Netgear switch. IP address is 192.168.0.239. That is the default. Then enter the password provided from Netgear. So click multicast, then you can find IGMP snooping configuration. IGMP snooping status default is enabled, so need to change from enable to disable. Simultaneously, please check block unknown multicast address that should be disabled. Then apply. That's it. Okay, let's go to System Setup, Part 3, Section 1, PC Setup and Application Software Installation. As for PC Setup, there are two tips. Firewall setting. We need to disable the firewall or set the firewall appropriately not to disturb the communication between MAS-A100 and beamforming microphone or Dante controller and Dante devices. The way to turn off the firewall depends on the security software that you use. This is an example of disabling firewall for McAfee user. Next, HTTP setting. HTTP proxy server to be set to off. Open Windows setting, select Network and Internet, select Proxy, and set Proxy server off. Okay, next, software installation. Management software MAS-A100 and Dante controller. Okay, then let's download MAS-A100 management software from Sony site. Then install. Next, let's download and install Dante controller from Ordinate site. You can find the URL in the system integration guide. Install. Okay, now you installed two softwares. Next, initial setup with manual IP setting. Separately, I will provide some information how to install using the DHCP. This is the system diagram for the case of manual IP setting without DHCP server. We need to assign the IP address for each Dante device connecting to the network one by one. This is an example of IP address setting plan. I'm going to set the IP address manually following this chart. Connect the PC and then connect to the right side of beamforming microphone. Then set the IP address of PC for the obtain IP address automatically. Then close. Then open the MAS-A100 management software. Then you need to decide the password of this management software. Then set, scan, then one microphone is detected and the IP address is automatically set. So I need to change the IP address following the IP address setting plan. 192.168.0.110. As for the subnet, in this case, I'm going to use 255.255.255.0 and set. If I click here, web UI will open, but I have already changed the IP address so that I cannot access the microphone. Then close MAS-A100. Okay, let's open the Dante controller. One beamforming microphone is already detected. Okay, then please take note of Dante device name. Then click device view and then select Dante device. Then go network configuration. Then please set the IP address following the IP address setting plan. 192.168.0.100. Subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. Apply, yes, and then reboot. Yes, device has discovered an address, but that does not match the subnet because I changed the IP address. Okay, close. Okay, let's connect the left microphone. And refresh. Okay, left microphone is now detected. So again, please take notes of device name, then click device view, select the device, set the IP address 101. Apply, reboot. Red is missing because I change the IP address. Okay, then let's connect the Dante analog converter for speech reinforcement. And then same way, take note of device name. And then go to device view and set the IP address 192.168.0.102. Then reboot. Last one, Dante analog converter for rec channel. Device is detected, take notes of device name, and then set the IP address 192.168.0.103. Then reboot. So all IP address is set. Now, I need to set the PC IP address. That is 192.168.0.210. So now you can find 4 devices are indicated on the Dante controller matrix. This Dante analog converter is for speech reinforcement, so the main channel of each microphone should be assigned to this Dante analog converter. And then this Dante analog converter is for recording, so rec channel of each microphone should be assigned to this Dante analog converter. Okay, so Dante controller settings finished. And then go to MAS-A1, input your password you have already decided, and then log in, scan. So you can find 2 microphones are detected. At the beginning, I have already set the IP address for right side microphone, so I need to set the left side of microphone's IP address, 192.168.0.111. Okay, then here you can find uninitialized because it requires initial setup using Web UI. Default username is admin and password is admin_1234. That is default. So again, admin_1234 is the default. And then set your own password. Go next. I need to log in using the new password. Then go next, set the time. Okay, that's it. Then go next microphone, same way. Password, set the password, set the new password, and then set the time. Okay, so you can find the status change uninitialized to OK. Go next. Here you can register the location microphone, for example, Tower A, Floor 3, Room 101. If you click here, you can double check if this microphone is actually right one or left one by LED flashing. Then change the name, right, and then remaining is left microphone. Same path, same room, and then L. Done. Click Room 101. Calibration. Select both microphones. Click here, then you can hear the test signal and adjust the microphone input gain. And please adjust the master volume of your audio system, such as mixer or amplifier.
Test. 1, 2, 3. Test.
Okay, then click calibrate. Then you can hear the white noise. It says the status, both average, rating 5 levels, excellent, good, average, fair, and poor. And average is not so good, 3rd grade. So please adjust the microphone's physical installation. For example, the distance between microphone to speaker or direction of microphone and speaker to be facing away. Before calibration, check the system volume first.
Test. 1, 2, 3. Test. 1, 2, 3.
After you change the physical
Test.
setup, please keep in mind that microphone calibration is always required. One is excellent, one is good, so good enough. Then next, adjust the mic volume. After calibration, if you want to change the mic volume, please use the mic gain of MAS-A100 or beamforming microphone web UI. Checking gain limit, no light or one light is fine, but two lights cause poor audio quality. After calibration, do not change the gain level of mixer or amplifier. After calibration, if you open the monitor, you can adjust the mic gain, checking the gain limit. If you click mute, the LED of microphone will change from green to amber, and the microphone is muted. But this mute is just for speech reinforcement. Rec channel is working even if you mute the microphone. If you want to open the web UI, click here. Then input your user ID and password. If you click administration menu, here you can change the microphone setting. Under audio, you can change the microphone setting. Main output, rec output, the noise reduction and equalizer under common for both main and rec output. If you click capture range, you can select the coverage area, wide, standard, narrow. If you click feedback reducer, you can select high, middle, low. As for the noise gate, this is the function to attenuate low-level audio input, high, middle, low. But there is a risk to cut the beginning of compensation, so that's why default is off. Separately, you can set the capture range and noise gate for rec output. Under common, you can set noise reduction equalizer for main and rec output. Then set. Go network, security, external system for API. Under system, you can set device information and option for boot up setting, date and time. Under maintenance, you can reset microphone to factory default. Another way to factory reset, you can find the pinhole on the back of beamforming microphone. So insert a pin and press the switch for 10 seconds during microphone is on. That's it. Go back to the web UI maintenance. Under update tab, you can update the firmware. Under legal, you can find user and software information. That's all. Please enjoy real hands-free beamforming microphone.